Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Africam Show. I'm so glad to be with you. We're, of course, at the Old Donyo Cam, the best cam of them all, and we're looking at some yellow baboons. I think this is pretty cool. So I've never seen a yellow baboon in real life, so this is awesome. Anyway, before we get stuck into it, let me welcome you and say thank you for joining us. And of course, you're welcome to send your questions and your comments. We're live and interactive. And it's me, Trishala. After a bit of a hiatus, I am back. I'm sure you've been having a wonderful time with Addie and Jamie. I'm not sure who else you've been with during this time. Oh, we've got a bit of mating. Oh, it almost looks like they're making out. Very, very cute. This is amazing. So, I said to you that this is pretty cool because yellow baboons are the type of animal that we're unlikely to see on any of the other cams. In fact, not at all. So down here in southern Africa, we have the Chakma baboon, which is one that we see often across the cams here in southern Africa. But up in East Africa, where El Aldonio is, yellow baboons are the ones that we're going to see. So this is awesome. You also get the olive baboon up there, but I'm not sure we've seen an olive baboon on the cams. Gordon, you say hi from Scotland. Hi, Gordon Foster. Thank you for joining us. And of course, we've got Zygote. Hi, Zygote. You say hi, Africam. I think that's a universal hello for all of us. Gosh, I really do love this cam so much. There's always something going on, and it's got such beautiful clarity. And on a nice clear day, you get to see in the mountain in the background as well. Look at that, a little infant has hopped onto probably its mother's back there. Now, if you look at this baboon that's just walked in the middle of your frame now, he's quite big. So he could be the alpha male in this troop. It looks like they're all kind of moving off now. But they tend to spend a lot of time in one spot, and you can sit with baboons for some time. And they're one of those animals that are very, very entertaining, and so much about them is I was about to say disgusting, no, amusing, but sometimes you might be left with a little bit of disgust. But that's wildlife for you. That's nature for you. Disgust is just a human thing, isn't it? We've got some helmeted guinea fowl sharing the space with the baboons as well. Lovely. So the yellow baboon is smaller than the Chakma baboon, but I mean, they look very, very similar. But the yellow baboon is easy to identify because it's got that yellowy tinge to its fur. Now, of course, the Chakma baboon is more kind of a gray-brown. The Chakma baboon also has a longer kind of, like a longer face. And with the yellow baboon, it's a little bit shorter. And in terms of size, they are significantly smaller. A yellow baboon is only about 25 kgs, and a Chakma baboon can get up to about, I think on average it's about 30 kgs, but up to about 45 kgs is something that you do see. Yaijal Boisian, I hope that I said that right. You say hi from Israel. I'm so glad that you are joining us. Bob from Kalamazoo, you say hi, Trish. Hello, Bob. Thank you for joining us. And of course, we've got Aussie Jan too. I love knowing about Aussie Jan 2's, what is the word I'm looking for? When I say drinking habits, it just doesn't sound right. But I love knowing that you've got your coffee in hand with you today. Looks like our yellow baboons have moved off, and we're just looking at the guinea fowl at the moment. I quite like them. because one, they're really noisy, or they can be quite noisy. Oh, we've got a tortoise coming through. Oh, look at you, guy. Walked in here like he owns the place. And yeah, why not? So this looks like a male. You can actually look, you can see his plastron quite well. So the top is the shell and the underneath is the plastron. And with females, the plastron is kind of concave, and that's because, with the males, the plastron is concave because he needs to mount the female. So this actually looks like a female with a nice flat plastron. Come on down. Oh, this is amazing. The way she just walked into our frame like it's nobody's business. Coming down. Oh, I saw a baboon butt just there, so they're still around. So much happening at this camp always. Zygote, you say that the secretary bird and the superb starling are one of your favorites at Aldonio. I think those are fantastic options. Starlings for me, pretty much any starling. I really, really, really love starlings. And the secretary bird as well is such an awesome animal to be able to observe some really interesting behavior. I hope that we'll get to see some when we have this time together on Tuesdays and chat about their behavior a little bit more. So this is a good view. Obviously, we're looking at the backside of this baboon, but you can see that this is a male. Sometimes that can be a little bit confusing, so I just want to go through it. So can you see under the tail, there's like a band of flesh, as in unfurred. So with a male, it's complete, but with a female, it's not complete. That band across is not complete. And that's obviously because that's also where her vagina is positioned. So it can't be complete because she has an orifice there. So that's an easy way to tell them apart. Mary Momo, you say, welcome home, Trishala. Oh, Mary Momo, thank you very much. You say that you've also got your coffee, and it's beautiful in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Wonderful. So glad to hear it. Misha23, you say, hi, Trishalda. You're watching from Canada. Thank you for joining us. And one of the things that I absolutely love about spending this time with all of you is inevitably I end up spending time with people across the world, and I love it. Here comes our leopard Tortoise. Oh, this is amazing. Having a good drink. So you might not really think about the way animals drink. It seems like such a simple thing. Everything needs to drink water at some point. Okay, some animals do a lot better without water, but if water is available, animals will drink, and the majority of animals need to drink. But it's actually quite a complex thing, because for us, we think, oh, well, you're just sucking up water, right? But the ability for you to suck up water is a result of your complete cheeks. So you can create a vacuum in your mouth. I know you're not thinking about all of this when you're drinking, but that's what you're doing. So you can suck up water. Now, for a lot of animals, they can't do that. When you think about predators don't really have cheeks, right? Because their jaws open so wide, or like a hippo, they don't have complete cheeks that allow them to create that vacuum. So for them, they've got to lap up their water. Now, for a tortoise, like this leopard tortoise, she's got an interesting thing going on. So a tortoise's beak, which is the front, they're basically these modified jaws, modified mandibles that create their mouth. That it's called a beak. So that beak doesn't actually fit together perfectly. The top mandible, or the top part of the beak, it's got an overbite, like an exaggerated overbite. And so what they do is they use their throat in the same way as we do to create that the vacuum and suck in water, but they don't have to open their mouths. They just suck it through the gap that's created by their overbite. So when you look at her now, she's just kind of putting her head straight in. She doesn't need to open her mouth, and it's being siphoned through, sucked in through the edges. Now, tortoises are very, very good at conserving moisture, and they do really well in very dry environments. But they do need to drink, and they will drink often if water is around. And they also have a bursa sac, which is located near their cloaca. The cloaca is the basically the opening that they use for everything, for um, defecating as well as for mating. So with reptiles, they have a cloaca. It's not differentiated. And around that area, they have what's called a bursa sac. And in the bursa sac, she keeps water there, like an emergency supply. But it's also what they dispense of when they are threatened. So that's why we should never really pick up tortoises, unless of course you're helping it. It's in the middle of the road upside down, then you should probably pick it up and move it. But otherwise you should not, because what they're going to do is they're going to let out all the water from their bursa sac, and then their reserves are gone. So it's really important not to handle them. Tessa Torres Bravo. Sorry, I tried really hard to say that quickly and it just didn't happen. Rosa Torres Bravo. You say good morning from Houston, Texas. And good morning to you too. It's the afternoon here. It's about 12 minutes past 4 in South Africa, where I'm coming to you from. And you are looking at the Oldonyu Cam up in East Africa and Kenya. Amber Co, you say happy Tuesday to all. You're excited for another Africam show. Well, so am I. Rose M, you say beauty, referring to our little tortie here. And you say hi to everyone. Five Girls, you say good morning, Trishala, and all from a still dark Boise, Idaho. Hello, hello. And we've got Suki V. He says greetings all. Hello from a sunny but freezing UK. Hello indeed. Rolling Trouble. You say woohoo, you made it up for the show. I'm so glad that you could join us, Rolling Trouble. I love to hear all your familiar names. You also say that you love them. They are amazing. Oh, baboon went past. Yagel Bosian, you say thanks for this beautiful life. Our absolute pleasure to be able to share it with you. Now, I would love if you could tell me how to pronounce your name properly, because I hate to mispronounce someone's name. I get it quite often. People mispronounce mine, and though it doesn't really bother me, I like to know the right way to say it. Rolling Trouble, you say happy to see me too. Aw. Thanks, guys. Feels nice to return home, as you said. This is so peaceful. Let's let this beautiful tortoise have her drink. And I'm sure we can come back here a little bit later and see what else is happening. It just seems like there's always someone coming down to the waterhole here. But I would love to see an Ellie, and I think that there's one at Tembe. Yes, there we go. Looks like a young bull. So he's got a very, very characteristic, well, of him as an individual. Very identifiable characteristic there on his left ear. See, there's quite a chunk taken out. So this is a good thing to keep in mind as an ID for this elephant. In fact, it looks like both ears are torn in that way. It's always nice to find identifying features because it just kind of creates a kind of connection that's you don't really get if you just see something as a in a broad way as just a species. But when you start to identify individuals, there's a certain closeness that I think is really cool, and also one of the great treasures of being able to be exposed to wildlife often, whether it's through the cams or like me, where they're going to reserves and knowing individual animals. I find it so uh, fulfilling. Oh, he looks so relaxed. This is so nice. Suki V, you say that the leopard tortoise we were looking at has higher peaks than those ones that you've seen in Pilanesberg. Pilanesberg, you're absolutely right. So Pilanesberg is down here in South Africa. There we go. We're looking at it now, and in obviously there are differences, physical differences between the same species that you may get here in Southern Africa and then you'll get in East Africa. It could be differences in sizes, variations in color, things like that. But Sukivi, it's not unusual to have these high peaks. So what Sukivi is actually talking about is these scoots. So you see these little kind of sections on the shell. They're called scoots. So the ones that are on the back, those vertebral ones, they're quite high. And I have actually seen that before. But it's a type of thing that can be variable in different places you go to. And this is actually a pretty good sized leopard. Oh, she's blinking at us. That was a good drink, was it? She looks satisfied. But I have seen higher scoots like this, but I must agree with you, Sukivi, that in um, it's not as common in southern Africa, but in the Eastern Cape, the leopard tortoises seem to get quite large. And I've been to reserves in the Eastern Cape quite a few times. In fact, I'm going again in about 10 days or so. And with the larger they get, they seem to develop these ridges. But that's a great observation. Well, she's really, really going at it. So what might be happening here is that she is not only quenching her thirst and allowing water to sit into her belly, but also uh, drinking enough to replenish her bursa sac. That could be what's happening as well. So you'll find that she'll drink a lot. Gordon Foster, you are asking if there are crocs in the water here. Not at, so there are crocs in this area, but crocodiles need, so Nile crocodiles, that's what we get in this area, will need a much, much bigger space. This is a small pan, and this pan is frequented by lots and lots of animals, and it's just one, too busy. There wouldn't be a space for a croc to move, to find a bit of, bit of area to itself. And one, it's just simply, two, it's just simply too small for a crocodile. Could there be tiny little babies? I mean, possibly, but it's very, very, very unlikely because a mother crocodile is going to lay her eggs in the area where she has been mating, which would be in the territory of another male crocodile. So those eggs would hatch in that same area. And of course, a big male crocodile that's territorial in that area would be in a large dam or a river. So It's almost 0% chance that there would be a croc in here. I'm really, it's very difficult to say impossible because a croc might pass through, and I've seen crocs walk between water holes before, but it is highly, highly, highly unlikely. Off she goes. That was quite a big drink, I must say. I hope that keeps her going for some time. That is just beautiful. We're so lucky that we've been getting sightings of leopard tortoises at the waterhole, at this Aldonia waterhole, fairly often, because tortoises can drink out of a little puddle if they wanted to, if they needed to. And of course, that's what they get to do, but they come to the Aldonia waterhole, which is amazing. This is very cool. What do we have here? Some yellow-necked, woolly-necked storks, perhaps? I think so. I've been getting a bit I've been seeing a whole lot of different storks recently, and it kind of like muddled my head. For the first time, I saw an abdom stork, and then there were some black storks as well. But these are woolly-necked storks. These are ones that one of those birds that I didn't really pay attention to very much growing up. So in KwaZulu-Natal, which is in the east coast of South Africa, that's the area I was born in, we get these storks quite often. That's one of those ones I just never paid attention to because, when you grow up with something, it's just, oh, that's a stork. You don't realize until later on the meaning of their presence, the biodiversity in the area, exactly what animal it is, what species it is. I think I've taken woolly-necked storks for granted a little bit. They look like there's not too much going on in their lives right now. But they're exactly where they want to be. You'll always find them kind of close to estuaries or basically water bodies that are not very fast moving. They may have been they may have been doing, there we go, some hunting a little earlier on, but now it looks pretty much like they're resting, especially the one on the left. So they are monogamous, and you often see them in pairs like this. But one definitely looks more busy than the other. Misha23, you'd like to know what the lifespan of the tortoise we were looking at up in Aldonio is. So that's a leopard tortoise, and like all tortoises, they can live for quite some time, up to 75 years or so in captivity. That's a long time. Now, I remember Not sure if he was a leopard tortoise, I don't think so. But there was a tortoise not far from where I lived in KZN, in Durban. His name was Admiral, and I remember celebrating his 100th birthday. So they can obviously live very, very long. And I wouldn't be surprised if leopard tortoises can attain those ages too. Obviously, in the wild, it's a little bit different. It can be as low as, can be as low as just a couple weeks old, depending on what gets to them. But up to about 75 years is a good average, but I wouldn't be surprised if they get up to 100. Come up, Gizmo, you say beautiful and so, so precious. Are you talking about our beautiful tortoise, or perhaps our woolly neck storks? I think either way, your comment is applicable. Garden Foster, you would like to know if the elephants are safe from poachers in those areas. So, it's a difficult question to answer because different reserves are different. Obviously, the whole point of a reserve is to have an area that is conserved for these animals. But unfortunately, poachers are always a problem. So some reserves are fenced, some reserves are fenced in certain parts, some reserves are part of what we call transfrontier parks. So that's when the conservation area extends across countries. Those are obviously more difficult to control, but a place like Tembe is a closed system, so it's fenced and it's not huge. So it's easier to patrol and it's much easier to keep the elephants safe. So in that area, I'd say it's very likely that the elephants are very, very safe there. In larger reserves, things can become a problem. For example, in like the Kruger, where it's part of a transfrontier park, and it's really, really, really large, stretching across Zimbabwe, South Africa, in parts of Mozambique. And the larger it is, the more opportunity there is for poachers. But it's something that I must say, African countries, the right people, put a lot of effort into protecting our wildlife and especially our elephants. And so I would say that our elephants are mostly safe, but it's the kind of, you probably tell my tone went went down a bit, and that's because I love elephants and I'm very glad for the efforts that people make to make sure that they are safe. Anti-poaching units some of them are crazy, super tactical, well armed, but it's just such a shame that we have to do that we are in a position where that is something that we have to consider. And so that's why it's really difficult to answer your question, Gordon Foster, because it's variable. It obviously depends, like I said, on whether the reserve is fenced or not, how big it is, whether there are any kind of syndicates around at that time. But in the majority of the reserves, in fact, I think all of the reserves in which we have cams, poaching is not a massive problem. Problem is, though, it's never a problem until it is a problem, right? But I'm glad to say that I have at least not seen an incident from poaching, which I think is a good thing. But sometimes in reserves that have a really good reputation, one or two bad eggs slip in and it happens, but we do try our best. Oh my goodness, it's a fish eagle! I think that's the most fantastic way to end our time together. Gosh, I love fish eagles. They are such stunning birds. It's so iconic. Call of a fish eagle. It screams Africa to me. Well, thank you, everybody. It is that time. Thank you for spending it with me on this Tuesday and with the rest of Africam and all the people behind the scenes as well, Aiden and Max. Big thank you to them. Thank you for your questions and your comments. I love having these discussions with you. And thank you to all the animals and the cams. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you again soon. Have a good day wherever you are in the world. Bye for now.